and former NBA executive and my cousin Bobby Marks joins us right now on 97.5 The Fanatic in Philly, and he joins us live on Zoom. What's up, Bobby?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How we doing?
Well, I mean, so we were actually doing a drafting last night too, so we weren't watching the draft with sound. But so I didn't hear what a lot of you were saying about the
Yeah,
76ers draft pick, but then I read ESPN.com this morning. I'm like, look at
yeah.
that. Bobby Marks, his favorite pick of the draft is no other than Labaron Philon. What do you like about him? Why do you think it's been the best pick so far?
Well, a couple of things. So for me, I don't do a big board or mock draft. What I do is I kind of put guys in tiers. So five, top five, next, and he was in my third tier. I had him at number 13 of the best players in this year's draft. I have a familiarity with him. So one of the things I do during the draft process is I prep draft prospects for their team interviews. So when they get to go meet with teams, there's a comfort level. So Labaron is a repeat customer of mine. So he went through this process last year, and I helped him prepare and then he went back to Alabama, and then we met again before the process started. And the one thing there's a couple things that stood out from him. When he went through it last year, he took the constructive criticism as far as what he needed to get better at. He shot 32% from three last year. Teams wanted to see him as kind of the primary playmaker in Alabama system, and he goes from 32 to 40, over a little over 5 assists a game. And so everything the scattering report they gave him, he got better at here. And I think that says a lot there. I think he's a terrific offensive player. I think when you add him to the backcourt already with Maxey and VJ, certainly I think you needed guard depth. You needed depth across the board. So there was a lot of different ways you could have gone there. But I think he's a guy who can come in. He's not a developmental project. I know defensively he's got to get a little bit stronger here, but I think he can step in and play right away for you off your bench.
Is he your sixth man coming in rookie year, or the guy that's coming off the bench like you had said with guard depth? Because a lot of 76ers fans, I think their first reaction is, well, can he play with both Edgecombe and Maxey on the floor at the same time? How much could you do that? Could the three of them, because of their size, play together?
Yeah, I mean, you can go three. I mean, I think certainly depends on matchups. I think you have I mean, it's almost like, when San Antonio rolls out three guards, if you go Fox, Castle, and I know Castle's bigger, and Harper, right? You get the speed guards, and you basically kind of just go downhill. I think depending on matchups, I think you can definitely roll three guards off. But I would say, depending on what else they do this summer in free agency, I would probably be more disappointed if he's not part of your rotation when we get to October.
Great job last night, Bobby. Great job leading up to the draft. And, of course, I know no rest for the wicked. We appreciate a couple minutes of your time today.
We got round two tonight. We're going to go another 3 hours tonight.
Let's go. Let's go. I can't see it in your face at all, Bobby Marks. Not at all. No,
I've been up. So, it's funny, real quick. I live in Florida, and I miss Taylor ham, egg, and cheese. Well, pork roll and egg and cheese down in Florida. And around pick 19 last night, I had a massive craving for a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese sandwich. And I woke up this morning. I found a bagel shop here in Brooklyn, and I woke up at 6 a.m., and I made a special mission to walk a mile and find this bagel shop, and sat there by myself at like 6:15 and had a Taylor ham. So my day is complete already. I don't care what happens the rest of the day. I got my sandwich already, and I'll be ready to go for round two tonight.
Was the sandwich good? Did it live up to the expectations in your mind?
You know what? I was up here about 2 years ago. I would say the sandwich 2 years ago was better. I'm not a big salt guy, and it feels like it was overloaded with salt.
Understood. All right. Well, Bobby, the question I have for you is this. One of the big, takes for a lot of people right now, Sixers fans, is that, wait a minute, Sixers just had Jared McCain. He didn't play. He was moved because Nick Nurse did not play him. Now, you could roll Daryl Morey into the conversation. That's fine. But Nick Nurse, he puts the starting lineup out there. He's the head coach. So now fast forward to present day, Nick Nurse is still here. So how is Labaron going to find playing time if he's just the same size and struggles the same way that McCain did last year with the Sixers?
Yeah, I mean I think it's certainly a valid point and everything, and I would just say that every player is different. I think Jared's a little bit different than probably what you're getting with Labaron. I think sometimes based on what you have with your roster, sometimes you have to play what you think is the best available off the bench and everything. And I'm not saying that it's not going to be a learning curve for Labaron coming off the bench, and who knows what the Sixers will do with the rest of free agency here, because they're going to need to go out and get a couple more guards, and they're going to need to get some perimeter shooting, and if they get some veterans, that will certainly solve that issue as far as from a depth standpoint here. But as I said, I just from watching him at Alabama, I would expect there to be a role for him with this group.
What kind of a player is he? We were doing the broadcast last night, and we were looking at his highlights. He didn't dunk the ball once in his highlights, so he doesn't play above the rim. Like I remember with Edgecombe the previous year, it's like, wow, this dude, everything he does, he looks super athletic. But what is his game? Is he a shooter? We know he improved as a 3-point shooter, but what does he look like out there? How does he score?
I think he's got a lot of in between. So certainly getting to the rim. He had a nice floater at Alabama. He's got a little bit of a mid-range game here, so this is not a perimeter oriented player here. So I think because of his speed, the ability to get to the lane, get into the lane and kind of create some separation from other players.
You're familiar with him because you said you've worked with him for a couple of years. I know the one thing that Bob Myers and Mike Yancey talked about was culture and building a culture and bringing in high character guys. Tell us a little bit about. He's 20 years old, so he'll play. I believe he's 21 in November. But tell us about the kid. Tell us about the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually just looking at my notes and everything like that. I mean, listen, I think I am a big fan of him because he just adopted a dog. So I'm an animal lover, and so I people who adopt dogs, I put on a higher pedestal and everything like that. So he just got a black German Shepherd and everything like that. So and a puppy. So it's a little one there. So I am a big fan of him. But no, I just think, listen, I think he's got a personality. The one thing when I talk to the prospects and everything, I want to bring out their personality, and I want to say, like, what do you like to do when you're not playing basketball? Like, if you couldn't play like, what do you like to do? And I don't want to hear like, I like to play video games, and that's great and everything like that. And the one thing that he mentioned is like, hey, I like to relieve stress. I like to go fishing, right? Like that's for me is like kind of get away from everything. But I think you guys will really like him. I think his personality is from what you saw last night is engaging. I think the fan base will really enjoy watching him play.
Bobby, one more from me. Cameron Carr was a guy that we were talking about for about 5 picks leading up to the 76ers selecting at 22 overall. And we had a gentleman on our show by the name of Sam Austri who was very adamant about that guy is the guy you can't miss on. You can't pass on him because he's going to come in and automatically be in the starting lineup. What is your take to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Cameron, it's interesting. He went to Tennessee for 2 years and then transferred to Baylor. I think he had a terrific year at Baylor. I think the question is that people that I've talked to is that what happens when there's a little more structure in the program? So you go from Rick Barnes, who is demanding, to a Baylor program that's not as demanding here. So there was a little bit more of a runway for Cam at Baylor than he was at Tennessee. And Rick requires you to guard. And if you're not going to guard, you're not going to be on the court and everything like that. But he goes to the Lakers at, I guess, 24. And they've got Cam was great at Chicago. He played the one game, and he really scored at a high level.
All right, there he is, Bobby Marks, getting ready to – you take a little nap before draft coverage?
No, because I don't know if I'm going to wake up from it, so I'm just going to plow through it here. We got NBA Today at 3 o'clock, so if you guys are on TV, so we're going 3 to 4 NBA Today, and then we'll go to the draft tonight, and we get ready to rock and roll.
All right, there he is. You called it pork roll, and then you changed it back to Taylor ham because
I
was raised pork roll.
I grew up in northern Jersey,
right,
and it's at 153 off the Parkway. And we have, the bridge that basically goes down to the shore. I think that is the dividing line. North of that is like 122 around there is Taylor ham. Everything below is pork roll. So for me, it's Taylor ham.
All right. There you have it.
You're
Bobby,
the best.
You're the best. Always appreciate a few.
See you guys.
Thank
All
you,
right, buddy,
Bobby.
there he is, Bobby Marks.
Nice. Great get, Ray, on the day after the draft. Obviously, he was front and center. They do a great job. We didn't have an opportunity to watch it, but we know what they're capable of, obviously, with those names up there. Billis.
Thanks for watching Middays with Marks. Like and subscribe right here. If you like and subscribe, you probably are loving what you're watching. There's more of it right here. Check it out.